No, just check.
Oh, it says you're live. But I don't see the link.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know how to find it though.
Oh, there it is. I see it. I found it. Oh, I can hear my voice. So let's mute that.
Let's not do that.
All right, I can plug. I'll plug in an announcement.
God, this has been such a pain. Like today has just been a pain. I'm trying to find if there's a way of me like getting a dashboard up. Oh, there we go. Why has it just got my banner as the thumbnail? Can I change that after it's gone live?
I don't know.
Oh yes, I can. It's a strong start to the stream.
Oh yeah, we're off to a blazing start. This is going great. Do you mind sharing your screen on here?
Yep.
Same as last time. Hi chat. Welcome to the very scuffed stream.
Oh, this is incredibly scuffed. Just because apparently my Twitch would not do things. And it wouldn't let me even get onto the UPBA Twitch, so yeah.
Twitch looks weird. Yeah, I'm right.
I'm currently just working out how YouTube streaming actually works because I've never streamed on here, like apart from one time I think I did a battle, but
we couldn't even figure out background music, so you're gonna listen to our sexy voices, and then when it goes silent, it's just gonna be dead silence.
It's gonna be complete silence, which is just gonna. Honestly, this stream doesn't get any better.
Yes.
I'm probably just gonna have to go to the link that you posted to try and get.
That's fine. Yeah, that link leads directly to the stream. So
okay, I'm gonna mute it. Absolutely gonna mute it. First thing I do.
Wolf. Yeah, that's what I did. Wolf. The plan here is after the stream's over, Jack's gonna look into it a bit more, so we don't have to like do it while live. And he's going to take the VOD from this and upload it to that. And then for future stuff like Monday Night Mons this Monday, hopefully, fingers crossed, he'll have figured it out by then.
Yeah. Fingers crossed. I mean, after today with all the land stuff, I'm...
Oh my god.
I'm a little bit done. So,
Hi, Mid. I like Mid.
Oh.
Big fan.
I'm not so sure. He's all right, but
he's all right.
Right. I mean, I didn't necessarily mean to start the stream, but at the same time, the only way I could actually get the stream to work was to start the stream to actually know if it had worked. So, yeah, enjoy the first 3 minutes of Migs and I just bumbling around trying to make sure things are working.
Have you plugged this on Twitter yet?
I haven't. I've been focused on actually trying to make sure the stream is going.
That is very
so,
if I don't beat you to it, then have you posted the username and password in here?
For
the Twitter?
Yes, but I don't think I pinned it because you did. I mean, you didn't pin it, so therefore it didn't get pinned.
Exactly. Guess it's my fault. Oh, it's gonna be all the way up.
It's going to be a long way. Oh no, it's the same login as the same password as the Twitch.
Oh, okay, I know where that's at.
So if anyone wants to hack our accounts, if you get it to Twitch or the Twitter, you get them both. It's a 2-for-1.
Add an existing.
Yeah, account. Shay's in the chat if you want him to do
it. Shay, can you just plug on? Yeah, Shay, you just do it. I'm pretty sure he's already logged in, so it's okay.
Yeah, I mean, Shay is our Twitter man now, so.
But not when I. Mid's gonna hold me to that till the end. I swear to God. He subbed to me, and it didn't pop up on my Twitch, whatever it's called, and then it also didn't pop up on stream, so I didn't see it, and then never said anything about it until he said something.
All right. I mean, we're 5 minutes in. It seems like the ideal time to actually get this going.
Yeah, we should start talking about the actual like league and stuff.
Yeah. So, yeah. Welcome to the UPBA Single Strike Division draft stream for season 4. I am joined by Galidite74. If you want to say hi.
Hello.
I mean, not that people haven't heard this for the last, because I'm not cutting this out. Let's be honest, I'm not that
Yeah, this stays in
professional.
at this point.
This is staying in. So yeah, we're going to be going through all 16 coaches for the Rapid Strike division. Sorry, single strike. I get that. It's going to happen so many times during this season. Yeah, for this single strike, it's right in front of me, so I just need to keep looking in front of me, and I'll get it right. Single strike division. Rapid Strike will be on Shay's channel / UPBA channel / somebody's channel tomorrow, but it will be put on Twitter. It'll be in the Discord. So yeah, if you want to know where it is, it will be in either of those formats. So yeah, I think we should probably get straight into this because we've already wasted so much time, and I don't know about you, but I got things to do today. So
I do too. So, should
we'll just move straight into the first team. We got Pat Mack with the first pick of the draft, and surprisingly didn't pick up the McGinner. Went for Dialga instead.
That is true. That is true.
This team is kind of scary. The Dialga Latios core. It's obviously double dragon, and dragon spam is pretty good, especially when one of your dragons doesn't care about fairies. And like the rest of the team around it, I think is built pretty nicely.
Yes, I kind of like the mid tiers quite a bit here, like Rose Raid, Rotom Heat, Mudsdale, and Prim. Like those 4 together seem really strong, and can definitely hold down like a game for a bit. And then again, you already mentioned the double dragon there, which is pretty interesting. Not something I fully expect, to be completely honest, in an S tier draft. By the way, for you guys in chat, if anyone here isn't a coach or isn't a part of the server, this is an S tier league. Not Ubers, but like, S tier.
I probably should have explained that, but I'm ill. I'm allowed to not remember things.
I do know about like 90%, if not higher, than the people in here right now are from the league, so you guys know that. So
yeah, this looks like a very U team. I'm not gonna lie. Like looking at this, Latios from Arena, Rotom Heat, they're your kind of mons.
If I ever play, I wouldn't do double dragon. That's just because I wouldn't do it. But otherwise, this is definitely a team I draft, to be honest. So
yeah,
I like this team a lot.
Crustle was a low key threat. I don't know if anyone watched the CGT Cog experiment game recently between Razor and Amel. There was a Endure Weak Armor Solar Blade Crustle, and I didn't even know Crustle got Solar Blade. It did nothing, but at the same time, I know it could be a threat. He's got really good hazards. Like, what's that? 3 spikes mons. He's got. He's got 2 good rockers. I say good rockers. Crustle exists as a rocker, and then he's got toxic spikes with Rose Raid as well. Like plenty of hazards. Really difficult, I think, for opposing teams to be able to switch into Dialga or Latios when there's like 3 layers of spikes up.
Right. Gonna force your opponent to run like boots every week, which is really nice for you, I guess.
I was gonna say, like, for somebody like myself who doesn't tend to run defog ever, it's looking a bit worrying. I might have to run boots on all of my mons.
Oh yeah, if I had this team versus you, it would be an instant win.
You could just like basically ensure that it's like 6 boots mons that I'm bringing that week, but
right.
Yeah, this team is looking really threatening. I'm interested to see how the double dragon works out, and also it's very specially oriented. So it's going to be interesting to see whether or not everyone just brings Assault Vest against them. Speaking of items I like.
Yes, I'm trying. Little fourth wall breaking for everybody in chat. I'm recording power rankings tomorrow too, and it's really hard to like go through this draft. This draft stream today and like not start critiquing it a bit because it's like, I have to just do that tomorrow. But that's just some behind the scenes stuff for you guys. Is Pat Mac here? Because if Pat Mac is in chat right now, it'd be cool to have him in. If not, like, not a big deal.
I was going to say, if any of the coaches are here and they want to chime in, then they're more than welcome to.
Oh, before you move on to the next coach,
I'm not moving.
for each, because something tells me we don't have this set up, so I can do it because I'm here. After each coach, in in um in chat, there's Pat Mack's link, so you guys can go check out all of the wonderful coaches as we go through them if you haven't seen them. So there's Pat Mack's YouTube. So hopefully, oh, there he is.
Where'd
Hello.
where'd you post it?
In chat, in Twitch chat, or YouTube chat.
I was about to say, I'm not even seeing it, but then again, that might be me. Hello. Sorry.
Hi.
Yeah, do you want to talk about your team a little bit?
Sure. I was watching the stream, so I don't know how much a delay there is on there when I actually jumped in, but yeah, I mean I heard you guys mention the double dragon, and I forget who said it, but like Dialga doesn't really care about fairies, so I figured why not? I like the two of those paired together, and then Primarina to like add on to that, and yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty excited about the team. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. It is like super special oriented, and so I heard the comment of teams are going to bring all boots, and then teams are going to bring all assault vests. So I figured they can't do both of those.
It's so 3 assault vests, 3 boots users.
There you go, easy.
Yeah. But no, in all seriousness, I think you did a really good job drafting. To be honest, just straight up, like.
Yeah,
I don't know what else to say besides what we haven't said already. Like I like your team a lot.
I think there's a lot of good pickups in that like mid tier, like a lot of good kind of like Rose Raid at 9 points. I think is a really good value for money. So, yeah, I think you did really well in picking up a lot of things that support Dialga in particular really well.
Yeah, I was definitely thinking about that throughout the draft.
Yeah. Moving on.
Anything else to say before we move on?
Nope, that was it. Forget about it.
Too bad. We're moving on anyway.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye, Pat Mac.
Yeah, so next up we got JB, and JB picks up the Reshiram. I think like that thing by itself is enough of a threat.
This guy picked up Reshiram.
I will say there's a definite lack of horses in this team.
Yes, that. Well, I don't know. Suicune's there. It's not a horse, but it.
And it could be a horse.
Considering I know JB himself is quite a horse enthusiast, that is a good point to bring up.
I mean, that was literally the first thing that came to mind, is there is not enough horses on this team. But, I mean, he does have Reshiram, he does have Drifblim as well. Drifblim is low-key, big threat.
The Drifblim, yeah, he supported it with terrain, so he does have that going for him. I think he did that with something else to Hitmonlee, yeah. This team is built. I think when I was looking at the team, it was built really well around Rillaboom terrain. Personally, I thought.
Yeah, you got the Hitmonlee, you got the Drifblim. Both can just be unburdened sweepers. Drifblim obviously has a bit of a harder time sweeping, but Hitmonlee round 7, you could tell that he really wanted that. Unless it was a trade, I don't actually know. But if he picked it up round 4, then yeah,
round 4.
Round 4. Sorry, did I say round 7? It's 7 points.
7, yeah.
That'd be why. My brain is not functioning properly today, so yeah, round 4 Hitmonlee. But yeah, there's a lot of nice pieces. I really like Jirachi after using it recently. Definitely like one of my favorite like Pixie-mons, I guess call them. Base hundreds across the board. It's a really versatile mon, very good pivot as well, and I think it works really nicely to get in things like the Suicune, to get in a Rillaboom pretty much for free. I think Suicune is going to be something that, because there's so many other threats on this team, might end up being the MVP, just because you've got to prep for so many different things. You might not be able to prep for the Suicune as well.
Right, 100%. One more thing I want to mention before we could potentially get JB up in this call is a little fun, really quick story. Me and JB were DMing for his first pick before he picked Reshiram, right? And he brought up Kieran Black at least on like 2 or 3 different occasions, and over the past like 3 days beforehand. And he's like, "So Kieran Black gets Dragon Dance, right?" And I told him yes. He said okay, and then he has a Reshiram on his team. That was the very next thing that happened.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Reshiram also gets Dragon Dance.
I believe it does. Yes.
So I fully expect to see Dragon Dance Reshiram this season.
Also, I hope so.
This man's both his Dragon Steel Fairy Core and his Fire Water Grass Core are absolutely nuts.
Yes. I forgot who the fire type was for a second. It's right.
Yes, Reshiram. I was looking at it as like, I don't see a fairy on his team, and then there's literally a Clefable right there.
Big pink blob, just
Yup.
literally in your face.
Not to mention the Basculin, the 2-point Basculin.
I
That
respect
thing,
Basculin.
it can put in work. I appreciate it on his team. Is JB wanting to hop in, or
I'll say that's if he doesn't want to hop in, then
we will move on.
yeah, simple as that.
You have about 5 seconds, JB. Okay, I'm going to assume that he's not joining. So...
yeah, there's a dead silence.
Considering there's no music as well, like it's even more scuffed. Next up, we have got Sven, and Sven honestly has just won me over in this draft. Both Greedent and Executor. Not to mention that was what, round 6 and 7 he picked those up. I nothing but respect for this man.
Mad respect. He's got mag first of all, so he just
I'm ignoring
right
that.
there. If we ignore the mag though, there's still a Greedent, so that's pretty cool. By the way, I want to mention just a little like a little teaser for you guys tomorrow. And I know this because I was making some of the draft slides. We see round 6 Executor now. Wait till you see like half of tomorrow's draft. It gets crazy. I just want to mention that.
I mean, I feel like round 6 Executor pretty much is just a Sven thing at this point. Like,
yes,
not Executor in particular, but just some random mon gets drafted like round 4, round 5. I think I've seen him draft Pikachu round 4. I think I've seen him draft Dene like round 6 as well. So anything is possible when Sven's drafting, and honestly, like the Greedent Executor being so high up. I mean, to be fair, he was in the same draft as me, so the Greedent going early, maybe he was scared of being sniped. It makes a lot of sense. So, but
that's fair. Mm-hmm.
This is we should probably actually look at the team instead of just the Greedent Executor. I'm very much, I love those two mons, and I will talk about them all day. But McGinner costs a lot of points, and I think pairing that with Curum is obviously a very, very scary combo. He didn't have a whole lot of points to work with after that. I think he's made a very good team with what points he had left.
Yes, I definitely agree to that. I think he make the most out of like all of his picks. I don't think there's really like an actually like a wasted pick here, depending on how he uses Greedent, of course.
Greedent is like, never a wasted pick.
Anyway, like Golisopod's a really good low tier. Bolton's good. Like, I'm not gonna go through everyone, but the point is, you get the point, right? Like, I could see any of these mons coming at some point.
Yeah, absolutely. They've all got a role to play on this team, and knowing Sven, he's going to be able to use them really well.
Right.
And I doubt he'll be awake for this. I don't think he's in stream, so we'll just move on.
Yeah, that's fair.
From now on, if any of the coaches are in the stream, join the call beforehand, and we'll talk about it. Yeah. So save us having any awkward silences towards the end of it. So moving on, we have Ellie and the Shanghai Dragons picking up Pheromosa as their S tier. And this team is honestly terrifying. It's especially things like Tangler. I've seen Ellie use Tangler before. Tangler is not a 5-point mon when it's in Ellie's hands.
Oh, is that Ellie go with Tangler? I didn't know.
I mean, did you see any of the PTO season where she had it and it was her MVP?
Did you? I didn't watch straight up.
Wow. Bad admin.
Yeah, I'm terrible admin.
It went like 8-1, I think, throughout the entire season. And for the longest time was her MVP. I think right at the end, Procyon Greninja managed to take it. But yeah, till that point, Tangler was just holding the fort. But this team is super, super scary. Like Galarian Slowking, Zapdos, Tyranitar, all fantastic Pokemon by themselves. Seismitoad, it's really nice on this team because like there is no grass weakness there at all. Like looking at the rest of the picks, why would you bring your grass type against this team unless it's like Rillaboom, and even then like Riddler is probably questionable. So yeah, I really like the Seismitoad on this team. Ditto gives a nice like revenge kill option and potential to prevent setup. And yeah, the rest of the mons kind of just fill a role. Like if Magmar she needed a fire type, it's a bulky fire type. It's probably not the first one she would choose, but it's still solid. Glaceon is decent. Chinchino at 4 points actually is really good. Like
that's really good.
Yeah, solid 115 speed tier. And yeah, I just think this team is really well rounded.
I agree. I think you basically gonna hit the nail on the head there. I kind of find this as a trend here. Like teams that are really built around like water ground types really nicely tend to do good. And you said that like this team is just not really grass weak. I guess there's a T-Tar there, so like whatever. But like, come on, like T-Tar and Toad, and that's it.
I mean,
so, like I think you can get a lot done with just those two mons alone for that reason.
yeah. I mean,
So,
if you ever click a grass move, then you're worried about Zapdos. You're worried about Slowking coming in, Pheromosa, revenge kills any grass type. It's never switching in on anything, but it's gonna revenge kill you. So
and then you got Ditto too. Like there's so many things you have to like be cautious for when prepping for this team. This team looks like annoying to prep for.
and also like one of the best ways of dealing with Pheromosa is to have a setup option to outspeed it. And then Ditto really prevents you from wanting to run that setup unless you have something that can check the mon that's setting up. There's always that chance of getting revenge killed by your own mon. So
Right.
yeah, I really like this team. I think it's going to be really effective. I know Ellie's gone to bed, so she's not going to be around.
Okay, so you know the answer to this one.
I was going to say, yeah, I know she's gone to bed. So we'll move on. And next up is Razorclaw. And it's Naganadal Aegislash, which is, I didn't even notice this call. That's kind of gross.
That is gross. I have to prep for that next week, so that's very fun. Give me a sec. I'm like plugging these links in the chat because I have to do it.
That's all right.
But no, that's a really good core. He's got a really. When I already looked, I was starting to look at this a little bit, and I know he's got Darm, Milo, and Celebi, which is pretty strong.
Yeah, it's a nice fire water grass core.
Ninetales, you Veil support for a team like with AG and Naga. It seems super strong too. Honestly, you have a budget sand down there.
that is like super budget sand with Sandaconda having to be hit by a physical move to be able to get the sand spit. Isn't it a physical move or is it any move that?
I think it's. I legit don't know.
I don't think anyone's ever run sand spit Sandaconda. To be honest, I don't think everyone just runs Shedskin, but. Yeah, this team looks like it could be potentially really good. Like you said, Veil support with Naganadal, that's scary. When you haven't got Ubers to try and deal with that thing, then it becomes a massive threat behind Veil, Nasty Plot. I was gonna say I'm not sure why the links aren't coming up, but
yeah, I was I'm like now I'm sad. I've just been doing all this.
The work hasn't gone underappreciated, like unappreciated.
Damn.
But I've recently used AG, and it's honestly one of the most versatile mons. Like just generally in draft league, it's such a potent offensive mon. They could also just sit there and like King Shield, recover health. It can sub toxic. It can be special. It can be spec expanded. It just does so much. And then you can say that about a few things on this team. Like Zorok gives like another layer of kind of like Ditto on the previous team, where you don't know whether the thing in front of you is a Zorok or whether it's an Aegislash or whether it's a Naganadal. It could potentially be really, really good on this team, especially for 8 points.
100%. And back to your first point earlier about Aegislash, I was talking to someone in the city last night. I forget who it was. It might have been Drexo, but we had this discussion. It's like if Aegislash could have 5 moves, it'd be like the best mon in the whole game, straight up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just because of its versatility, like you mentioned, and on a team like this too, that it's gonna go crazy if Razorclaw can use it to its full potential.
Moving on. Next we've got Alex and the Birmingham Spritzy. Genesect Zygarde is the top 2 here, and I know with Alex, he has a very interesting way of drafting normally, where he will pick up mons that other people don't necessarily rate and will make like good use of them. However, I think this time round he kind of has just picked up lots of good mons.
We picked up round 3 Bulu, but
I mean round 3 Bulu is a bit questionable, but you know.
But I think it also fits this team really well because Zygarde doesn't rely on Earthquake.
Yeah.
So that right there, and Zygarde with grassy terrain support is like seems really strong, and they have Genesect as well. Like that, I think those top 3 kind of go crazy, Loki.
Yeah.
And then you got good support alongside it as well.
I mean, Galarian Slowbro is a really good, like, kind of low-tier threat. Something that's definitely underappreciated, I think, in other leagues. But He's got some nice pivots as well, things like Thunderous, like Vaporeon. Genesect itself, though its U-turn is doing like 50%, is still a pivot. Not to mention like Claydol and Wigglytuff, slow teleport. I believe Claydol gets teleport. I could be wrong on that.
It does.
Okay.
It does.
So I think this team's going to be really good. Blacephalon is something that I've used in PTL recently, and though it's frail, it hits so hard. Possibly like will come most weeks just as a wall breaker. And the only thing that I don't particularly like about this team is, though he's got Zygarde, Vaporeon, they're both good fire checks. He doesn't really deal with fire types amazingly, especially if it's something like a Rotom Heat for Vaporeon, or trying to think what beats Zygarde. There's no fire ice types. So
yeah, but he's got the Zygarde though, which takes advantage of a lot of fire types typically. So
yeah,
I could see that being nice.
I mean, just Genesect into Zygarde is going to be tough for a lot of teams to deal with.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I completely forgot to mention earlier. I should have brought this up earlier. Razor Claw is our current champion, by the way. So
oh, he is, yeah.
I forgot to mention that. I was thinking about it. That's weird. So.
I for some reason my brain was just like, yeah, all the previous champions are in the other draft, but nope. that is not the case.
Yes, I should have mentioned that earlier, so my bad. But yeah. I don't know what to say about this team. Like I'm just a big fan of it personally.
I'll go back.
I just think the core looks really nice.
Yeah, it's a very balanced team again. I guess the one downside is that its fairy type is Wigglytuff, because Bulu is not a fairy type.
Bulu is a fairy type, quote. Yeah.
I mean, it's a dragon type switch-in, but that's all it is in terms of fairy type. But we'll move on. Next up, we've got Knots, and he did pick up the Kyurem Black. After all the talk of Kyurem Black earlier, we actually have the Kyurem Black. And honestly, these top three scare super, super scary.
Right. Well, I can talk about this a bit more because I have prepped for this. And this was my week. This is my week one. And again, breaking fourth wall. This is my week one opponent. Will not be spoiling how that went, but I can talk about the prep process a bit because I can talk about the team that way. Kyurem Black plus Dugtrio is incredibly scary, straight up. He's got the Lele Kyurem Black core, which beats everything that isn't a steel type, and then I think he did a really good job at building around beating steel types. He's got 2 Trappers and Magneton and Dugtrio.
Yeah.
Recently I used in a BDSP league Magnezone Dugtrio, and that went crazy. So I think that the support from Kyurem Black, which is very strong, is really good on this team.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing I'm not entirely sure why it's there is the Hippopotas. Honestly,
it's a baby hippo.
I'm trying to work out if it's got a roll, but at the same time, it's 1 point, so it doesn't matter that much. X-Cloud for 6 points is a really good wall breaker. Like you said, it's got great trapping options, great pivots as well with Load and Persian. And he also picked up Sceptile, which, if I remember rightly, was MVP 2 seasons ago. Or maybe last season.
I think it was last season.
I was going to say, Sceptile put in a lot of work for 5 points with that potential with Tapu Lele for the Unburden boost. Sceptile could be low-key a big threat because you're not prepping for the Sceptile when you got Kyurem Black, Tapu Lele, Keldeo, plus 2 trapping mons. There's too much on this team for you to necessarily be focusing much prep on Sceptile.
Yeah, you got so much to worry about already. So, low-key a threat. Yeah, I don't know much else to say about this.
I like the defensive core of Talonflame, Amoonguss, and Galarian Corsola. It's not a lot of defense, but it does a pretty good job. Those 3 are able to kind of switch into each other's weaknesses pretty well.
You also got to, on top of worrying about all the things we've already mentioned, you have to worry about Spore Amoonguss too, which is super annoying. So. Yeah,
just a very, very annoying team with a very scary, kind of top 4 or 5 mons.
Yep. I don't think Team Knots is here.
I don't think he is. It's probably too late for him. It's about 11 o'clock now.
Yeah.
So.
All right. I guess we can move on to Hayes.
Hayes, I like this team. It's first 10 mon team I think we've seen. And
yes, I think so.
You could even question if it's 10 mons because Shelmet exists on that team. So.
What is this disrespect for low tier mons I've been hearing so far? And this.
I mean, it's just low tier mons that I don't particularly like myself, so I know there is an avid Shelmet enthusiast in my house, so I've got to be careful what I say. Giratina Origin, Zeraora, Heatran. I don't need to go much further and just saying that those three are scary to face, and then this team is just full of really good mons. Like, there's no bad mon on this draft, effectively.
Is this the league where we had Conk and Mienshao in the same tier?
Yes.
So yeah, you have Mienshao up in the same amount. You get that value. I think it's really nice. It's a really good mid tier. I like the mid tiers here, like Weezing G, Mienshao, Crooks. I think Crook is really good at like some roll compression stuff. So on this team, particularly, I think it's super, super nice to maybe not force Heatran into rocks every week, and stuff like that. Yeah. Giratina O is very scary, of course. We've already mentioned.
Zeraora is just by itself is usually like probably a late round 1 pick, but usually a round 1 pick. For him to manage to get that on the way back round is really good for this team. I do like.
Oh. No, keep going. No, keep going. Sorry.
I do like his Dragonsteel Fairy Core as well in Giratina, Heatran, Weezing. I feel like they all have very different roles, but can also like they fill a lot of roles as well. Like you got good hazards in Weezing and Heatran. Both like Heatran and Giratina can be defensive and offensive, and do those roles really well. Then you got just like Zeraora is a fast kind of late game. You got potential Scarfers in Mienshao and Crook. Good removal options in Weezing and Starmie. That this team is really nice, and even a low tier being like Thwacky, it still helps out with the ground weakness that it could potentially have if you want to run like neutralizing gas Weezing, because realistically that is his only resist to ground prior to that point. Right.
I agree, yeah. Also, can we mention how hard the Wacky goes in the bottom left corner there? That home sprite is really badass.
It really is.
I think we talked about that earlier. Like,
moving on, we've got Shuckle King. And this team is a very Shuckle King team.
Yeah. Just straight up.
This is really well put together. A lot of kind of, I would say like Shuckle King mons like Barbaracle. Apparently, from what I've heard, he is an absolute demon with that mon. So, I mean, it's Shuckle King anyway. He is a very good player. And if I'm hearing that he's very good with certain mons, then you know that he's going to be putting in work with it.
Right. I would also like to first thank Shuckle King for not sniping me throughout this draft, because if anyone was going to do it within the first few rounds, it was him. So thank him for that. Second off, there's a freaking horse on this team. Finally, we went like 5 drafts without a horse, so that really was.
I mean, there's a horse, there's a bull, there's a weird floating horse-like thing.
That we can call it a horse.
Yeah, we could definitely go over that. Solgaleo could also be counted as some kind of horse. So
there's a whole Solgaleo on this team. We have Shuckle King in call. If Shuckle King wants to talk about his team a bit.
Yeah, go for it.
What's up?
Yeah, I think I'm here. How's it going?
Hello.
Yeah, so yeah, team is Solgaleo, which was honestly like maybe my second or third like top option, and I'm pretty happy it fell down to 9.
Well,
I was like super surprised. Yeah, but yeah, no, team is basically built around Solgaleo and kind of weirdly enough Neolego, because I feel like between Landorus, Slowking, Togekiss, Sarud, all 4 of those mons, I feel like should be able to handle all of the S tier threats. Now there's like stupid S tier threats. Magearna's crazy, Reshram's crazy, Kieran Black is crazy. There's a lot of crazy mons.
Kind of true.
Yeah,
but that's just one mon.
Yeah, but yeah, all 4 of those mons like at least somewhat deal with some of them, so I feel like it's okay. And then Neolego, I just really like this mon. Like Meteor Beam sets are my favorite, so hopefully I can get a couple sweeps with it.
I totally respect that 100%. Get around.
And I got to pick up a horse too.
Of course, you have to, right? Like, you just get bonus points at that point for that.
Yeah, what is it, like 3-4 horses on the team?
At least.
Yeah, and even then, I don't know about the other mons you mentioned, but like Kieran Black and Mag to maybe some extent. Like Solgaleo can handle them reasonably well too, so you don't have to worry about it as much with your defense. So
That and Neolego at least a little bit.
Yeah. So the synergy there is really, really strong. Nice hazards here. Nihi's not forced into running like T-Spikes if you want them to, which is really nice. Really, really, really well built team.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, we'll see how it goes. It's a lot of scary coaches this season. So
that is true.
I'm very happy with this team. Got the Barbarical, my baby.
Yeah, Jack said you were apparently really good with that. I've never heard that, so now I'm excited. I have some expectations now.
Oh man, but yeah, Barbarical can. We'll see some magic out of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anything else, SK, before we move on?
See what our next team is.
No, I don't think so. You guys are doing a good job. Keep it up.
Cool. Well, thank you for stopping by.
Yeah, of course.
All right, now we got the best team in the league here. No, just kidding.
Honestly, it's got a bomb snow, so I would have to agree. It's up there.
Yeah, well, this is my team for anyone in chat who somehow couldn't figure that one out yet. This is my team, and I guess I'll kind of take the lead here a bit since it's
go for
my
it.
team. I got Liberace, and I will straight up say this was my first choice for being where I was at. I wanted Reshiram, but at 10th pick, I was not getting Reshiram. So next was this. So we got that, which was pretty cool. Rotom, Wash, and Silvally, fun fact, are my 2 most used mons. Top 2 out of my 3. Ferrothorn's up there too. But
I was about to mention Ferrothorn, but
very strong defensive core. It's something I'm very used to, which I was a big fan of for myself. And the other thing I want to mention is Garchomp. Had to talk about that one a bit just because I didn't really plan on getting Garchomp, and it fell to me. And then CB Marcus in chat there, hopefully, kind of talked me into picking it up for it being there. I could honestly talk about this.
Trash.
I could talk about this for ages and ages, but I do want to just brief it up a bit. It's got some mons I'm really used to here that I'm a big fan of, and then new mons that I've never used before. Plus, there is a nice cheeky hail core there.
There is.
Oh, and horse too, and horse.
Of course, I mean that's a necessity for a good draft at this point.
Yes.
The Abomasnow Beartic for 5 points. That's actually kind of wild.
Yeah.
Abomasnow by itself is actually a really good mon. During my time using it, I drafted it twice, and I'm pretty sure it's got 18 kills or something in those 2 leagues. So it's a mon that I think a lot of people overlook, but is actually very, very good. The typing is really solid, even though it's got terrible weaknesses. Somehow it still works. And then you got some really interesting mons, things like Slurpuff for webs, as well as a potential Unburdened Sweeper.
Right.
Surfetched, I faced that recently. That thing kind of hits everything hard. There is not many switch-ins to Surfetched. Koffaraja, very similar, has very few mons that can actually switch into its coverage, and also gives you nice rocker. Moltres sadly doesn't get anything that a normal bird would get, but it's still very good.
Yeah.
But it doesn't even matter that your flying type doesn't have defog, because you've got 2 of the best defoggers in the game in Wash and Silvally. Garchomp should never have made it back to you. I was tempted to pick it up myself, not expecting to get what I got. I was definitely looking at Garchomp, and if I didn't pick it up on that wheel pick, I was sure that somebody else would pick it up, but it managed to make it all the way back to you. And honestly, those top 2 are one of the scariest top 2s in all these drafts.
Yeah, I've only prepped for 1 game so far, but I had a really comfortable time building with this team. 2 more things I want to mention really quick before I'll shut up about my own team. This is the 3rd time I've drafted Moltres G, but I've dropped it in post draft. What's that called?
Transactions grace period.
The grace period, that's what it's called. I dropped it both times last time I drafted it, so finally I'm able to use it because I'm not dropping it this time.
Not yet.
And what was the second thing I want to mention here? I don't remember. No, I don't remember.
it'll come back to you.
Oh,
We'll be
crap, I don't remember.
halfway through like somebody else's, and you're like, oh yeah, by the way.
Yeah.
So-
My hazards are terrible. Okay, moving on.
They're not the best. I've seen better, but then at the same time, hazards are overrated because boots exist. So
True.
I'm gonna sneeze, so I'm just gonna mute myself if I can.
Cool. Yeah, we can move on since I've already. I could keep going about it. So
I muted for the stream, but not for you. So I hope you appreciate that sneeze. Yeah. Next up, we've got Q with the mascot pick.
yes, he's got Bolt. That's very scary.
I was talking about Mammoth.
Oh,
Basically a
Yeah,
second mascot at this point for him.
oh, he's got Memo too. Yeah.
Probably like at this point, it's becoming a third mascot. The Relicamp at one point.
Yeah, that's CB Marcus's mascot right there, Relicanth.
Respect
That
it.
is
Solid mod. This Dragon's still very cool. Arguably one of the best in the league. Like Dragapult with Celesteela Sylveon. That's kind of gross.
It is. Really well. I like the offense a lot on this team. Like it doesn't. It seems like a really nice balanced team, but I think the offense can definitely really shine here a bit. When you have the Celesteela, the Mamo, the Pole, the Sylveon offensive seems nice. That's a lot.
I think the only downside to this team is probably like a lack of hazards. Realistically, your only rockers are going to be Mamoswine, Relicanth.
That's true.
I mean, Rock's
Neither one of them
Mamo
are.
is pretty solid, but you don't always want to run that. Relicanth, let's be honest, it's not coming every week. Then you got things like Garbodor and Orbeetle. Again, I don't think you'll see those come all that often. And then you're just kind of out of hazards. The removal was solid. Serena, Blastoise, two very good rapid spinners.
Right.
And then I think like generally the pivots in this team are kind of nice. Heliolisk was something I was looking at myself. And I was surprised to see it go as early as it did because I've not seen it draft for a little while. But Serena, Heliolisk, Blastoise, Incineroar, all really good mid-tier pivots. And I think with things like Dragapult and Celesteela at the top, and Mamoswine to Wall Break, it's going to be a really good team to use.
Right. Mid mentioned it in chat. It was something I was going to mention. And then, like, even though I don't know about you, I don't consider Polt really an Uber. It's like it's a low tier S at low S tier at best. But to counterpoint that, we've already talked about it. The Dragon Steel Fairy Core, because he's in this position he's in, he can get that really strong core of those three, which I think he did a good job with, to kind of bolster Polt more, like give Polt more support. So
yeah, I mean, realistically, like Polt itself can act as a utility mon, like a good pivot into things like Celesteela or Mamoswine. Like part of its like why it's so good is its ability to just U-turn on its counters until there's a point in which they don't become counters anymore because they can't continue switching into U-turns, and then being able to just kind of sweep up. Like it's just one of those mons that is able to keep pivoting until it has the opportunity to kind of just win. And I think this team really allows Dragapult to thrive because it's going to be like chunking down a lot of those mons that want to switch in.
I agree. I 100% agree.
Next up, we've got Matt, Dr. Slacking, and a team that I actually have helped Ellie build for. So I know this team pretty well at this point. I know also he doesn't have grass type, which I actually found out after doing all the prep. I was like, wait, he doesn't have a grass type. But this team is very interesting. It's the first team without S tier, so to speak. You could say Dragapult isn't, but it depends on the person that you're talking to. I know there's a lot of people who at this point,
yeah, so you
this
can
team
100% just
legit doesn't have an S tier, which is kind of surprising because there was a couple still left on the board. But this team is surprisingly well-rounded. Coco Victini is a fantastic offensive core, really good at breaking each other's checks. And then things like Kamaro, Nidoqueen, Corviknight, Jellicent, great kind of utility or like bulky sort of monster switch in, but also more so in Kamaro and Nidoqueen's case, very versatile mons. Obstagoon, using it myself, very powerful wall breaker. Azelf can do a whole bunch of things, again, very versatile. And then, yeah, you got the Claw Wizard and the Feeble at the end that kind of just pad out this team. I'm not entirely sure on their roles in this team. I guess Feeble, Unburdened, Sweeper, and I say Sweeper in a very loose term. And Clawblitzer can be a more offensive water type over Jellicent that's pretty much going to be always a bulky mon.
I definitely understand the counterpoint. I can definitely understand Clawblitzer a bit, because if you want an offensive water, I don't think Jellicent really serves that purpose. Even if you build Jellicent offensive, like, I guess it gets Water Spout, but like, it's not that great, to be honest. So Clawblitzer can do that job a lot better.
Plus terrain pulse with the electric terrain.
Yeah. Another point I want to make out is I think Obstagoon is a really underappreciated mon in general right now. I know it's kind of hard to fit on some teams, but I think this team does a good job fitting it. And how much is it? So that's 12 points, okay. But I've seen leagues put Obstagoon lower than that, and I think it's a really good mon personally.
Yeah, the dual typing is very hard to switch into. Plus close combat and the ability to parting shot out as well. I think it's
it's really thick too. Like actually,
it is. Yeah.
To it. Finally, one thing I want to mention is this team was the result of grace period transactions. Yes. Straight up to you guys in chat, this team was one of the worst teams I've ever seen prior to the transactions. That team was so bad. It had, I couldn't even tell you. Like, there was like 3 steel types up there somewhere, which, I mean, steel type's not a bad type, but like their synergy wasn't there. It was a shit show straight up.
I think that's like a product of Matt's ADHD just running wild and forgetting what he picked and ending up picking up like 3 psychic types, 3 steel types. Like,
it was pure chaos. Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. And the fact that he made, after all those transactions, he made a team like this team, which I think is really good. It's very impressive, honestly.
If it wasn't for the fact that this is an S-tier league, I think this team in a regular league would be one of the best. But the fact that there's S-tiers lying around, it makes it a little bit worse, but it's still a really solid team.
Right.
I think the only downside to it, firstly, is Corviknight is really your only removal. And I think it is actually the only removal on this team.
It is the only removal, yeah.
Outside of Coco, and I mean, how often are you running default Coco, honestly?
You don't want to run default Coco on this team?
No. And the only thing that really worries Corviknight is electric and fire types. And, Coco's setting up the electric terrain to power up those electric types. You could say that like a lot of his defensive mons are weak to electric, which he is powering up. And you're relying a lot on Nidoqueen to be able to switch in. And if there's any electric types with the coverage to be able to hit Nidoqueen, then he's going to have a real tough time. But outside of that, I think he's got a very strong team here.
That's a completely fair point. Yeah, I don't have much else to say about it. I'm personally just a big fan of this team a lot.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that I used to be a big Coco hater.
I used to be the same, but I'm coming around to it. Next up, we got Luca making Draft League debut, or at least Wi-Fi debut with the Speed Boost Blaziken, which is honestly a really good mon, but something that is being allowed a little bit more in leagues. I still think it's probably an S tier. I think it shouldn't be allowed in standard format, but it's one of those ones that is borderline. But I think that this team is going to have a lot of fun.
I agree to that. I think it shouldn't be allowed in standard personally, Blaziken. Just because I feel like we've had this combo before where it definitely struggles on ladder now just because of the top defensive mons just so happen to resist both of its dual stabs. So like it's pressed for coverage, but in draft it's nowhere near the same.
No.
So you can definitely, that's what makes Blaziken so strong. I think the offensive options on the team is crazy. Blaziken, Weavile, Gengar, and then Diggersby. That is insane. Straight up.
But it's not even like this team is like weak defensively as well, because like Tapu Fini, Bronzong, Goodra, Regirock as well. They pretty much cover every defensive position you're going to need, and like he's also got some great pivots as well. Things like Diggersby, Rotom Mow. I really appreciate those two as pivots. They're bulky, they hit pretty hard, and yeah, they're getting things on this team that he can really take advantage of.
Right. And I forgot to mention the best offensive threat, Unpheasant, sitting right in the middle.
Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, that's just me being very ignorant. I'm trying to like figure out because like Blaziken, like Fini provides Blaziken so much support. I think defensively,
Yeah,
and then Rotom a little bit lesser, but Rotom can pivot into Blaziken, which is could be super strong. Um,
Weavile Gengar really kind of breaks down a lot of things just in general. Like those two together as an offensive pair, there isn't anything I think that will check both of those. Maybe you could argue Steel types, but even then, they like a knockoff from Weavile into Shadow Ball from Gengar. It's not appreciating that at all. And he's pretty much got like Blaziken, and then things that can come in on Blaziken. He has all of the switch-ins for it.
yes.
I'm just trying to think of like I'm trying to see any weaknesses. Like his rockers aren't amazing. Bronzong, Regirock, solid, but again,
I feel like if
could be better.
opponents for him, and it's I think one thing I'm noticing here is somehow like theoretically somehow if you get past his defense like Fini, Bronzong dead, and Gudra's low, I think a Scarfer of some sort can kind of mess this team up a little bit.
Yeah.
But then he's still got like good priority, and Blaziken's got speed boost, so it's not like even then you still have to worry about all of that.
And if you get a double protect, there is no Scarfer that is.
Yeah,
Able
you're
to
gonna
outspeed.
facing that Blaziken at that point. So no, I also like this team. Again, I like a lot of these teams. I know I'm repeating it, but
Yeah.
I really think a lot of people's drafts are good to be honest. So
And I know Luca, and he likes to get a bit creative, so I'm intrigued to see how he uses some of these mons.
oh, interesting.
Next up is the person I know is his week one opponent, and that is Foxter.
We only have 3 teams left. We've only been streaming for like an hour, by the way. 50 minutes.
We're speeding through it. This is
Yeah.
This is the new wave of draft analysis and draft streams where everything is all in one go and they don't take 4 hours.
True.
It's certainly really nice when my voice is already struggling. So this is the first team I think we've seen with 2 quote unquote S tiers, mons that you don't tend to see used in regular format in Landoi and Zamazenta Crowned. There's a lot of people who don't think Zamazenta Crowned is very good. I guess we'll find out. And Landoi is kind of like Blaziken on the precipice of being S tier. Some leagues are allowing it now. But this team, again, it's a pretty solid team. There's a lot of scary offense at the top there.
Right, and you got strong pivots too with Lantern and Mandibles. Actually, surprisingly, really good core. And P2 can teleport, so you got a lot of pivots into these really strong offensive mons that you've mentioned.
Yeah, I mean, Galarian Dharm as well hits probably one of the hardest U-turns in the game.
Oh yeah, there's a G Dharm sitting on screen.
Yeah, there's just a G Dharm just chilling down there. This defensive core is really nice. Mandibuzz P2 is really solid. You got 2 very good clerics in Aromatisse and Lantern. Not to mention, like you said, Mandibuzz Lantern itself is a pretty good defensive core. I think he's just built really nicely to be allowing his top 2 just to be able to click buttons effectively. And I just think this team's going to do pretty well off the basis that how do you switch in and keep those mons from pivoting into something else that will probably just kill you?
Yeah, you just gotta constantly just maintain momentum against this team, which is really hard to do. Also, forget to mention, I've used Mandibuzz and very strong. And so in S tiers, I wouldn't expect no different.
Yeah.
I'll also mention how we have not mentioned Aromatisse yet, because that's a terrible mon. But besides that mon on this team, the defense just goes crazy, like we've mentioned.
I mean, he did need a fairy type.
Yeah.
And also, there is the Trick Room possibility with Stack Attacker itself getting Trick Room and P2.
Oh yeah, you have that as well.
So that's just another layer of potential threat on this team. And yeah, Stack Attacker arguably is the scariest or one of the scariest mons in Trick Room. So yeah, this team is looking kind of threatening. I'm intrigued to see how well it does. It is a little bit weak to rocks, I would say, but you've also got one of the best defoggers in the game in Mandibuzz, so it should be okay.
Right. I'm really interested to see how Zamasu plays, because that's a mon I've always kind of enjoyed watching. So
yeah, I mean, like I say, there's the people out there who say it's a bad mon and shouldn't be banned, but we'll see. We'll see how Fox does with it this season, and if it proves to be one of the best, then we know those people are wrong.
Yes, straight up. Look, 2 teams left.
Only 2 teams left. Next up, we got Stitch. This is
Damn.
the second team without an S tier. Or I don't think many people are banning Mew at this point, but
Guess the weather Stitch is drafting, because he only drafts weather at this point, I swear.
he does, and he is not swayed from that with the sand core of Hippowdon and Excadrill in this.
Yes, a shocker to no one. But it is really good. Last gen, my most used mon was Hippo, so like I know that mon's really good. I personally love that mon. And then when you pair it in Sand, it just bolsters its usage even more. I got a lot of fan favorites for me personally on this team. You got like Scully, Hydreigon. Those 2 are fire. Then you have a Mew.
Yeah.
What do you have to say about that?
I mean, he's got some very nice breakers, and I think Mew's best role in this gen is like a setup sweeper. It can obviously be playing any kind of role. It can be hazard lead, which again is fantastic for this team. Takes that pressure away from Scolipede, but again, vice versa. Scolipede takes that pressure away from Mew. It can also, like, your Hydreigon and Excadrill that will just punch holes in a lot of teams and leave it just so you got Mew, you got Scolipede, even like to an extent Belly Drum, Azumarill as well, could be like endgame sweepers. Then you got Hitmonchan and Emolga, they're kind of just chilling there, but they do fill a role in this team. He needed electric type, he needed a fighting type, he got removal there. Prior to that, his removal was it's pretty good, like, but it's not necessarily removal that you'd always want to click. Like, you don't want Defog on Mew particularly that often. Same with Hydreigon. Moltres is probably the most reliable removal outside of maybe Drill, if you want to run Rapid Spin Drill, which is perfectly fair too. And the defensive core here of Tangrowth, Moltres, Hippowdon, in of itself is actually really, really solid.
Yes, and before we let Stitches in the call, what's up? And before we say, I was supposed to say this team is bad just to say it. Don't be scared of this team. Yeah. Stitch, you can talk. What's up?
Oh my god, get out of here with your nonsense. Yeah, no, we're back to my roots. Weather, we all know that's my thing. At this point, did pretty good with the Sun team last season, so I was like, why not? Let's do Sand. I haven't done that in a while. I was super surprised to get Mew at pick 15. That was kind of crazy, even with all the S tiers. I mean, like, this is very odd to see the Mew, and I've never had Mew in a draft before, and now I have it in 2 drafts, so that's kind of interesting.
I'll see how that goes.
Yeah, this should be interesting. Basically the idea was I draft Mew, and then I draft pretty much just as versatile as possible to make it so you don't know exactly what I'm doing with Mew, because like, is it going to be a nasty plot Mew? Like, well, he has Hydra for that, so like he doesn't need to do that. Is it going to be a Dragon Dance Mew? Well, he has Scolipede, so he can do that role too. Or is it going to be Hazard Stack? You know, you get the idea. So like, pretty much just be as versatile with the other rest of the team, and then I can just throw Mew in as pretty much whatever I want. It's not like pigeonholed into any role. So I like the team. Think one of the things that because my steal isn't really a steal, you know, like Excadrill is amazing Pokemon, but you know, it's not like a real steel type, and I guess by extension, Azumarill's kind of the same thing. It's not really a fairy type. You know?
Cool. Yeah, I understand that.
So like, my Dragon Fairy Steel core is a little bit weak, but you know, it's a very offensive team. I like it. My low tiers are, like you said, kind of just there. So but for the most part, I like it. I like this team. Yeah. No, it's bad though. It's bad though. Don't try.
Oh yeah,
terrible team.
So, but yeah, so thanks for all the kind words about the team, and have fun finishing it off the draft thing. So
thank you, Stitch.
Yeah.
He hit the nail on the head with the Mew thing. Like, I don't really want to talk about the division on the other side, but I think this team did a lot better drafting around the Mew, just because again, you don't know he's not forced into anything. Oh yeah, Stitch is also the captain of my Unite team, so cannot, very shout out to him for that.
Shout out to the Unite team. I've just realized that Hydreigon was a round 3 pick, and I don't know how I managed to make it there. But
true, I was gonna draft that if I Garchomp didn't drop. So
I guess we'll move on to the last team and the worst team in this entire draft.
God, here we go. We got Vancouver Titan.
Look at this awful team.
Dude, you have Turner Shifu, dude.
I picked up Urshifu in the second round specifically to say that Urshifu went to second round. I was kind of just, I meant the wheel pick. I didn't really know what I was going to be picking. I was going to pick whatever was best things on the board, effectively. And I managed to get Taunty Urshifu, which was kind of nuts. After that, I didn't really have a whole lot of a plan. It was kind of just whatever got to me, then I would just pick when it got to me.
When you're in the back wheel like that, that is fully respectable and understandable.
Yeah, so I picked up Slowbro Diancie as like my main defensive core. Like apart from grass types, these two kind of cover each other's weaknesses pretty well. On top of that, I picked up things like Scent Scorch, Double later on, which questionably Double does check certain things that those two don't particularly appreciate too much, and Scent Scorch again, the grass type that those two struggle with. Scent Scorch ×4 resists. I picked up Kartana, which again you could questionably say is a ×4 resist to grass. If it's on the special side, it's not resisting anything. So you have Torn for that though.
I
also have Torn.
That resist.
Yeah,
you keep mentioning the grass, but you have that. You have a lot of really good offensive answers to grass types too. So I don't think that's really going to be a big issue for you personally.
Yeah, and also I was like a little bit worried about ground types just because, again, my grass type was Kartana, so that's why we got a Shinotic there. It kind of, it's just there. It exists. It may not make it the entire season, but it's there. Jolteon has become something of a staple for my teams just because I don't tend to pick up like a 130 base speed with other mons unless like Dragapult or Zeraora go. Like those two are like the 130 plus mons that I normally would pick up. I'm not often picking anything else up, but I like that speed tier. And it was either I pick up Aerodactyl or I pick up Jolteon and save some points, and I'd rather pick up Jolteon. Because I do feel like this team does a pretty good job of dissuading some ground types with like offensive Kartana, Nidoking. Slowbro makes it hard to break. Not to mention you got Torn right there as well. So yeah, I thought like Jolteon might be a really good budget pick. It's never let me down in the leagues that I've had it. And like this team I think has some potential. It's a lot of mons that I've used in the past and enjoyed as well. And because Greedent went, I had to pick up a different normal type, and that's why the double was there.
I think that's why this team's not S++ and only just S+, because there's no Greedent.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'll try and trade with Sven, but I can't see him dropping it.
Your team's one of the few... No, I shouldn't even say that. I think your team does it the best, besides maybe Stitches, where there's no S tier, and even then, like, Urshifu's like... really. Okay. For you guys in chat, okay, I'm gonna stand up for this one. For you guys in chat, personally, that Urshifu versus Polt debate, I think Urshifu's a little bit better, personally. But that's a different debate. Polt's really good still too. Anyway, I think you still have the core is just so strong. Like this beats out any S tier that's not built around well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know a lot of these teams do have built around their S tiers pretty well. But like it's this core alone beats with that. Even if they're not quote S tiers.
There also a lot of my team is able to pivot quite nicely. Like the top two U-turn, Slowbro Teleport, Diancie Baton Pass, Flygon and Jolteon are good pivots as well.
Right.
Like all of them are able to bring in other parts of my team that are equally as threatening. Like Nidoking, Kartana are two of the strongest wall breakers in general. To have that along with like Urshifu, which again is just a ridiculous mon in terms of wall breaking. Yeah. And Torn is just a super versatile mon that can do whatever. So I feel like the defensive backbone being able to pivot as well as they do, plus the offense being so strong, I'm hoping that that's just like enough to carry me to good results.
You'll do it. I believe in you. You will. Wait, do we face? Yeah, we face, I'm pretty sure, right?
We do face off, yeah. So that's a guaranteed win for you. But...
No, don't say that. There's a Shifu on the other side, and your whole team. Like, we literally just talked about your team. Like this looks like a nightmare to prep for.
Oh, that's what the
Like-
plan was. The Shinotic is a nightmare, and just by how it looks. So I'm
That's
hoping
staring at his
that I'm hoping that's enough to get me at least one win this season. But then I dubbed some calcs for my week 1 where I thought Shinotic was going to be good, and no, that one's ass. So it may
Who
be
do
on
you
the
face
shopping
week-
block.
Who do you face week 1?
I face Patmac week 1.
Oh, okay. That was the first time we went over in today's
It
stream.
was, yeah. So
Um,
nice beginning and end there. Like,
Yeah. Well, I'm sure we've only been going for before we started stream, I was thinking like this is gonna last like 2 hours on the dot, like maybe a little bit shorter, but this is like an hour like top.
nah, I've still got a game to play after this. I'm getting a little tired, so yeah, I was not hanging around. But
No, I respect it.
I
All right.
of those teams, I'm not going to ask you which one's best because that would just ruin your power rankings.
Yeah,
So,
I did the power rankings, so I have to be a little bit spoilers like that, so I won't be saying that. But again, I think everyone in Single Strike did a really good job drafting. These are scary teams. So good job to all you guys. Shout out to Single Strike for being the first draft being done because we were better.
Yeah,
Getting done drafting.
we were done by like a good couple of days as well. There was
Yeah,
wasn't even close.
it was not even close. But I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Let us know what's your favorite team. Don't mention yourself. Don't be that guy. Unless you truly think your team is the best in Single Strike. And I'm sure Jack will have more to add to this in a second. But hope you guys are looking forward to Rapid Strike tomorrow. That will be hosted by Shay and Strumpf, which is probably realistically going to be a little bit more comedic. We'll straight up say.
Yes,
I'm not that funny, especially compared to Shay.
I mean nobody's funny compared to Shay.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know what else is there to say. Like, what else? Go check out all the coaches. I can't post apparently. So.
Yeah, I would have put it in the description, but I was panicking and rushing at that time and didn't put any of the coaches in the description. But if you go to the
If you just join the
UPBA
server,
Twitter or the server, yeah, you can join the server as well. Yeah, then you can find all of the links to the coaches for this season. I'm really excited. Like, there's no coach on this roster that I'm not excited to play. Granted, I'm not playing 31 games, but like, yeah, I'm really happy with this roster this season, and it's going to be, I think, a highly competitive season to say the least.
I agree. Both of these divisions are super strong, and I think we're in for some really good matches. I know on my schedule, take a look at it. I have not fought. Okay, only three of my people, which doesn't sound like a lot, but like considering that
It's a third of the season.
Considering the Wi-Fi draft scene is dead, according to which, I mean, Loki kind of true. That's quite a bit. 3 people I've never fought before, and that's super exciting. And then some people I've only fought like once. Like I think almost everyone on my schedule like once.
Yeah.
Done, so
at least
except for you.
Somewhat.
you.
Yeah, I was gonna say we've faced off so many times that my winning record against you is literally like 0.01 at this point. But yeah, there's a lot of fresh matchups I think this season, and the way the division's been divided, I think there's a lot of people who haven't faced each other in those divisions. So lots of good games. We'll hopefully at the moment we've got 2 out of 3, but there should be 3 games on Monday for our first Monday Night Mons live stream, which, touch wood, will be on the UPBA Twitch channel. If I can get it, like, my entire setup sorted, because it's just gone horribly wrong tonight.
I will consistently ping Jack you guys to make sure he gets it for Monday. I promise.
Yeah, I will do my best.
Yeah, I hope you guys are looking forward to that, because that was like an idea us as an admin team came together for, and I'm personally really excited to see how it throws down.
I think it's going to be interesting to say the least, and I think it's going to be a really good time. I think it's potentially going to be not the future of Draft League, but it's going to be something that we might see a lot more often. So,
assuming we don't have a million technical issues like we have to.
Yeah, I was going to say 5 hours worth of LAN timer trying to be set up, and then the Twitch not working. So, yeah, with all that hopefully not happening, Monday night, I believe it's going to be starting at 6 p.m. EST. Actually, no, EST times have changed. It's now 7 p.m. EST.
Yeah,
which
you
is
got your
the whole
time zone
reason why
conversions
this
correct here.
the whole reason why this was an hour late to begin with is because I do not know time zones. So yeah, without us rambling on too much, make sure to check out all the other coaches.
Oh yeah, we'll talk all night. So yeah, you should probably end this.
Yeah. Make sure to check all the coaches out. Check out the Rapid Strike stream tomorrow, and like the video, subscribe to the YouTube and the Twitch if I can get the Twitch working. And glad to have you all for us this season.
Yeah. Hopefully I'll see you guys around.
Bye.
Bye.